Welcome back to the second half of NewsBreak Live. Tonight with me is Dr. Edwina Lewis, who is one of the recruitment supervisors for the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
And Dr. Lewis, this Saturday is a very important event coming up called Share Your Heart, Share Your Home Expo. It's one of many that is hosted by Los Angeles County on fostering and adoption. So tell me a little bit about the event.
Well, we're very excited to be coming to the city of Torrance and the South Bay cities to share information about foster care and adopting, as well as hosting through our Kids Safe program. It's really an attempt to outreach the community to begin to answer questions and to ensure that we're working together on behalf of children and families in Los Angeles County.
And how many children are in the system in Los Angeles County?
Well, currently in Los Angeles County, we're servicing approximately 35,000 children in home and out of home care. And of that 35,000, we have approximately 5,000 for which we're looking for permanent homes for. At any given time in our placement recruitment unit, we're doing child-specific and target recruitment for approximately 500 children to try to secure permanent homes for them. So overall, we're looking about servicing about 35,000 children in Los Angeles County alone.
And many people don't know that there is a need for adoption and fostering right here in Torrance and across the South Bay. How many children do you see getting displaced?
Well, absolutely, there is a need. I checked current statistics before I came to be with you this evening, and we currently have about 56 removals a month from the Torrance and South Bay areas. Those are cities such as, Gardena, all the cities that are represented in the South Bay area. Overall, there's 56 removals per month. And if you average that out, that would indicate that we need approximately 18 homes per month, so, identified in order to readily place children who are in need of foster care placements. And so with that, we definitely need to increase the numbers of homes in the South Bay area.
And you've been with the department for how many years?
I've been working for Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services for 31 years.
And do you feel the need is only growing?
I believe we've made some impact on the front end. When I first came into the department, we had 71,000 children in at-home care. So we've decreased that number significantly. I almost cut it in half because we recognized the need to place services on the front end to do prevention and to keep children as much as we can in the care of their birth parents, and if not their birth parents, their biological families or friends or relatives in the community who can help care for them. So we've decreased the numbers, but when I say 35,000 children, that's 35,000 people. That's still a lot of people for whom we have to provide services. So it's very real for our children and families in Los Angeles County.
And you tell me all the time when we talk that you have kids waiting at the Welcome Center throughout the night.
Yes, we have welcome centers that we've established here in Los Angeles County. We have one welcome center we established in 2012 for children 11 years and under. And we recently in 2014, in April 2014, developed a welcome center for youth 12 and above. And so what these welcome centers provide for us is a place where the youth can stay overnight. Legally, they can't stay there alone in 23 hours, then becomes a more permanent placement. So we have 23 hours to identify a intro placement or foster care placement for the children. Some of our children are due to circumstances and situations, are replaced, and we need to find homes, shelter care homes, or permanent foster homes for for a moment. And if we don't do that, then they end up back at the Welcome Center. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to minimize the trauma to children. That's traumatic, to be removed from your home and then to be taken to a strange place and then another strange place. We're trying to minimize the trauma to children in Los Angeles County.
And that's why the expo this Saturday at the Toyota Automobile Museum is so critical to spread awareness and get information out about adopting and fostering. What is the goal? I know there are a lot of myths out there.
There are a lot of myths, and what we find is by going out into the community, we can answer questions that people have had at the, I call them coffee table conversations, and we can dispel some of the myths and some of the misconceptions about fostering and adoption and hosting children for the weekend through our Kids Safe program. But the only way to do it is to go out and reach out to the community and have a presence in the community and to work in tangent with the community as we try to service the children that we're working for and the families. So the goal of this event is to make sure that we give definitive information about the process and the steps that are required to complete the process, as well as to begin to answer some of your questions in the community, as well as to dispel some of the myths. It's often thought that if you're a single parent, you can't adopt. It's often thought that if you're rich, you have to be rich to adopt. You do not have to be rich to adopt. We have all types of families coming forward. We have two-parent families, single parents, families from all types of situations. And so we want to make sure that we give everyone who has an interest an opportunity to come forth and to move on their interests in fostering and adopting in Los Angeles County.
And this is for people that may not want to adopt for the long term, but people who are interested in fostering for the time being are welcomed as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we realize that not everyone is interested in adoption. We have some foster caregivers, and they are excellent caregivers and foster parents. That's all they want to do is to help us support a permanent plan for a child or help return that child to the biological family. We need foster parents, and then we have some families who are only interested in adoption, and that's okay too. If your primary interest in adoption, you don't want to foster, you have every right to state that. And then we have some families who are interested in both. They will both foster and they also have an interest in providing a child with a permanent home. So it really has to do with what your personal preference is and what works best for your family.
And how did your department come to partner with the City of Torrance?
Well, we're very fortunate that we have a relationship with Mayor Fury, who is a former county counsel for Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. So we've had a long-standing relationship with him. And he's always been very supportive of our efforts and endeavors on behalf of children and families. And so when we wanted to come to Torrance, of course, we reached out to Mayor Fury and asked for his support, which he rendered without a doubt, and came forth and made everything possible for us to move forward with the Share Your Heart, Share Your Home Expo here in the South Bay area.
And to put things into perspective about the children that do come into your Welcome Center that do need homes, what are some of the circumstances that prompt a child to be removed from their home?
Well, there are all types of circumstances or reasons that a child is removed from their care. We are a child protective services and agency, and so our first objective is to look after the interests of the child. We care about families overall, but as a protective service agency, we're looking out for the needs of the child. So often children, the majority of our children come into our care, into our system for services because of general neglect. Then, of course, you have cases wherein we have, of course, physical abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence plays a part. Then you have children where there's an issue with housing and homelessness and things of that nature. And so there are any number of reasons that a child enters the system. Our goal is to make that stay in the system as short as possible and to find them permanency or stabilize their home situation as soon as we can, so that they can be returned back to a home where they can be cared for in safety as well. And there are other things that impact our department. We don't work in a vacuum. I've often said that there are global issues that are beyond us, that you have the economy, you have socioeconomic realities that are very real for our families in Los Angeles County and here in the South Bay area. We have situations where in terms of unemployment, we have poverty, all types of things result in children coming into our system. And again, our job and our task, the charge before us, is to ensure that we minimize the trauma to them and try to stabilize their living situation as soon as we can.
And it's for the people that are coming to the expo this Saturday, I think it's important for them to know that you are looking for homes where children can stay within the city they're currently living in.
And that's very important because, again, I can't say it enough, our goal is to minimize their trauma. And so one of the things that we can do to help with that situation is to try to find homes in the community where they're going to school, where they go to church, where their friends are, where relatives are people who are significant in their lives. It's nothing worse than finding yourself being one place where people care about you or love you and so on, and then the next day you're in a totally different environment. So we want to, if we can keep the child in the same school, that's excellent, because so many of our kids in the system, their academic, their education is interrupted or is impeded because of multiple replacements or being moved in the middle of a school term. All that is very significant, and we want to see our children perform at their best. And so we want to mitigate some of that, and one of the ways we can do that is by finding more homes in the areas where they are actually removed from, so that they can be some familiarity and some consistency left in their lives despite the circumstances that, that brought them into the system.
And you service babies to young adults.
All
I've read that
ages.
siblings and young adults are the hardest to get foster care or adoption for. Is that true?
Yeah, that's a very real fact that we sometimes are more challenged by, particularly when it's a large sibling set. And again, go back to what I said earlier in terms of socioeconomic realities, Los Angeles, state of California, the cost of living. And so not every family is able to take on a large sibling set. Or there's some families who only want to parent one child, or they may not have the means or the desire or the ability to parent more than one child. So sibling sets, it can be a challenge, but and older children, there tends to be misconceptions about our older children. A lot of families feel, well, they've already formed their personalities, and I want to start with a child who I can shape and develop. Well, I've met some terrific and fantastic youth, and so who have a desire, just like you and I, to just be in a place where they're loved, cared for, and who need a permanent home. And instead of growing, our system was never intended to be their parent. And so it breaks my heart to see children growing up in a system without the stability that they deserve and the love and the nurturing environment that they deserve. And so what we do for children, older siblings, and for sibling sets, large sibling sets or small, we do what we call child-specific or target recruitment, where they attend recruitment events, where they meet prospective adoptive parents. There's Wednesday's Child that comes on Fox. And so where we can get the information and inform the community that we're searching for a home. We have our Heart Gallery, we have internet sites, we have all type of avenues through which we are trying to specifically identify prospective adoptive homes and permanency for the children.
And for people watching right now, if you could sum it all up and, they're interested in the event, what would you tell them right now about them just coming out to see what this all means?
And I'm glad you asked that. If you had the slightest indication or inkling that this might be something that you're interested in, if you know a friend, maybe come and support a friend or a family, a loved one who's been thinking about it, this is an opportunity to get some of those answers, some of those questions answered, and to get started with the process. At the least, you will come out informed. You will come out with information that you can share with someone else, or that will help you to make a personal decision. So if you had an inkling, or if you want to support someone else, come out and be a part of this process and share your heart and share your home. That's all we're asking you to do, is to give it consideration, to hear the information, to consider it, and then you make an informed decision as to whether or not you're ready to move forward, or if this is something for you and your family.
And people can RSVP for this event?
Absolutely. We ask that you RSVP so that we know that you're coming, and we want to get as many people out as possible. So we do ask that you call our 800 number and that you let us know that you're coming and how many guests you are bringing with you, and so on.
Well, Dr. Lewis, thank you so much for joining us and telling me about this important event happening this Saturday. I really hope a lot of people will show up.
I do too. I do too.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
And for all of you at home, here's some information to write down about the event we were just talking about. It's called Share Your Heart, Share Your Home Expo. It takes place this Saturday at the Toyota Automobile Museum, which is located on Van Ness Avenue. It's about 4 miles from the city of Carson and close to the 405 freeway. You can also go online to shareyourheartla.org for more information. It is free and open to the public. They're asking attendees to RSVP, just like Dr. Lewis mentioned. And be sure to call 888-811-1121. The event is hosted by the Department of Children and Family Services in partnership with the City of Torrance. Well, that does it for tonight's NewsBreak Live. We always welcome your feedback, so if you have news or video that you'd like to share, please email us at newsbreak@torranceca.gov. And for Facebook and Twitter users, use hashtag NewsBreakLive. And don't forget, City Council members will be back on the dais tonight. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.